guys, it's Reagan and today I'm here to bring you my May book haul. This month I've accumulated a lot of really exciting books because I don't know if you've noticed, the past month or so has been kind of like the month for book releases, so I just have a lot of things I've been anticipating and they're now in my hands. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first book I'm going to show you guys is the Perustopia Book Club pick of the month for the month of May. And this month we are working with Disney Hyperion and we are reading The Trials of Apollo, Book 1, The Hidden Oracle. I've already read and reviewed this book. I loved it. The live show for this is going to be on June 3rd on Sasha's channel, just to let you guys know. But this book follows our main character Apollo, and essentially he was cast out of Olympus by his father Zeus and forced to become a 16-year-old mortal. And now he has to figure out how the crap he's gonna regain Zeus's favor and become a god again. It is so funny. Like, this was just like a classic Rick Riordan, I love to read story. It was engrossing, it was fast-paced, it was hilarious, and it was just full of Greek myths, and it was so great. The next book I'm going to show you guys is a book I've been eyeing for a while, and I finally just picked up on a whim, because I do that a lot, and it is Eleanor by Jason Grewley. Not gonna lie, the first thing that drew me into this book was this stunning cover, because this cover is absolutely fantastic. But then when I heard it is a fantastic magical realism story, I was hooked. I honestly don't know much about this book besides the fact that it has magical realism elements, and I know it basically follows two twins and one of the twins dies and then the other twin has to deal with the grief and the growing up, you know, that one has to face when the death of one sibling like inevitably rocks the family. It sounds amazing, sad, but gripping, so I'm excited to get to this very soon. Next up is another new release, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I have also already read this book, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I wasn't anticipating this book as much as I thought I would. Basically, when I read A Court of Thorns and Roses last year, I liked it, but it kind of faded from my memory. Like, I remember liking it, but like not loving it, and then this came out, and I was like, oh yeah, I should pick it up and read it. But then I read it and I freaking loved it. So just in case you're on the fence about this series, you shouldn't be. You should read it. I'm just letting you know now. Like I said, this is book 2 to Sarah J. Maas's Fae Beauty and the Beast retelling, and holy crap, it is so much better than the first one. It is also super long and amazing. So I picked this up. Glad I did. More details and feelings to come in my wrap up, but yes. And then of course I had to pick up The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, as this book also came out at the end of April, and this is another like highly anticipated booktube read, the fourth and final book to the Raven Boys Quartet. I've only read the first two, but I really enjoy this YA fantasy series that follows our main character Blue, who comes from a family of psychics, and basically she's been told her entire life that her first love, when she kisses him, is going to die. Right? And then there's also centered around 4 boys called the Raven Boys, and they're just obsessed with finding these magical ley lines. It's a really great whimsical story that has just really great characters, and it's a lot of fun to read. Now that I have the final book, I feel like it'll be easy to marathon and finish hopefully pretty soon. I'm thinking about getting to it this summer, but we will see. The next 3 books were sent to me from Christina, so thank you so much, Christina, and Guten Tag all the way over in Germany. And the first book she sent me was The Emperor of Any Place by Tim Wine-Jones. This book looks really, really great. And this basically follows our main character whose father just passed away, and while he was kind of looking through his father's things, he finds this journal, and this journal is a journal of a Japanese soldier who was stranded on a Pacific island, and he was like, why is my father reading this journal of a man from so long ago? And I feel like this novel is going to intersect time and space in a really interesting ways, and I also hear it has some fantastical elements in it as well, so I'm interested to see how that interplays within this story. But yeah, I love any books that nod to World War II. I'm very interested in that historical setting, so I'm pumped to get to this. Also sent me Walk on Earth a Stranger by Rae Carson. Rae Carson is a fantasy author that I need to read more of her books. I've only read one and I really enjoyed it, but I also read it so long ago, which is just not good. This is the first book to her new fantasy series. It's basically set during the gold rush, and it is historically accurate to the setting, but our main character has a fantastical part about her. Basically, she can sense gold, which, as you can imagine, can kind of get her in a lot of trouble during the gold rush, because it's kind of, I mean, it has its name for a reason. This book has gotten a lot of praise. I'm excited to have it in my collection, and I just, fantasy. Can't go wrong with fantasy. And the last book she sent me is probably what I'm most excited about because she said it was one of the weirdest books she's ever read, and I like that. And it is The City of Dreaming Books. This book sounds odd. I read the synopsis and I was like, what? But first thing, this book is full of really cool illustrations, but essentially, this follows our main character who receives an unpublished manuscript from his godfather by an unknown author. So he travels to this city of dreaming books. It's a very odd, peculiar place with full of odd and peculiar people. And it just kind of sounds like a whimsical story surrounding around books that would just, you know, make book lovers really happy. At least that's kind of the feel I'm getting from this. And apparently there's like an evil king within this city of books. I don't know. It sounds weird. Like I said, I don't totally know what it's about, but like, I'm definitely intrigued. It definitely did that for me, and it just looks like a lot of fun. And again, these illustrations are so cool. The last 4 books I got from Book Outlet. As you know, I have a Book Outlet page, which I will leave linked down below for you. The first book I got from there was Ruby by Cynthia Bend. I can't tell if that's an O or an E because this font's a little funky. But I have been seeing this around BookTube, especially with like British booktubers because it was nominated for an award in Britain. But this novel just sounds really great. Obviously Oprah liked it. I have this sticker forever on my book because of it. But this follows our main character who is a black woman who grew up in East Texas, and she escaped the violence and obviously probably the sexism and racism of her town and escaped to New York City. But some events force her to kind of have to go back to her town like 20 years later. And I just imagine it is just, she has to face a town probably seething with hatred and just, again, continual racism and just all sorts of really difficult things. And I feel this book, I've heard that this book is fantastic and deals with all of them very well. It's a very loved book, and I'm excited to have more perspective on issues like this because I feel like it's important to continually read and gain new perspective. So I'm glad to have this. The next book I got, I screwed up, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I got this book because it was the first book of a new trilogy that I thought I could just read without reading the other ones, but I was wrong. Basically, I got this book, The Fool's Assassin by Robin Hobb, which is the first book to the Fool's Assassins trilogy. But I asked a Robin Hobb expert who told me that I can't just read this book. I have to start with the first book, which is like 5 or 6 books before this book, so I just have this book. I screwed up. But I mean, it looks great. It's a great hardcover. Got it for a good price. That's why I got it, but can't even read it. Alright. The next book I got is a nonfiction book that just appealed to my soul, and it is The New Tsar, The Rise and Reign of Vladimir Putin by Stephen Lee Myers. I am really interested in Russian history and Russian political history and also economic history. But most of my knowledge lays in the past, specifically around the 17th, 18th, and 19th century of Russian history. That being said, kind of when the 90s happen, I kind of lose some of that knowledge, and I just kind of want to bolster some of my, you know, I just want to bolster my knowledge on the history of Russia, especially with a lot of current political, geopolitical issues going on with Putin and with Russia. I'd like to learn more about what's going on specifically, so I got this because it sounded interesting to me. And Putin, love him or hate him, is kind of an important guy right now. And he scares me a lot. And the last book I picked up from Book Outlet, I'm excited that they finally had it. I've been like waiting and waiting. I was like, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. And my waiting paid off because it was. And it is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I got this guy in hardcover for like $6 on Book Outlet. $6! This is a much beloved book. It won the Pulitzer Prize, was also nominated for the Man Booker. I honestly don't know anything about it. I'm gonna be totally true with you. I'm gonna be real with you right now. But I've been meaning to read a Donna Tartt book for a long time. Again, highly praised, highly loved. And this particular story sounds great. Don't know what it's about, so I don't know why I said that. But oops. Alrighty guys, that is my May book haul. Let me know down below some of your favorite books that you've picked up in May or recently from the library, for wherever. Just let me know. I'm curious. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Goodbye!